Hi there, Liam Ward here at learntheharmonica.com. We're going to be bending notes today. So I'm using a C harmonica. You can use any diatonic harmonica. You can use any key, but if you want it to sound exactly like mine, then get your C harmonica ready. So we're going to be bending notes on the harmonica. Really important technique, really great for blues, jazz, a host of styles, and it's one of the distinctive sounds of the harmonica, one of the things that makes it stand out from all the other instruments really. It's very expressive, and it's a wonderful technique to have. So if you haven't got a bend before and you're not quite sure what they are, bending notes on the harmonica is just a way of changing the pitch from the natural notes that the harmonica will be getting. So there's only 19 notes that you get on a harmonica usually. So 10 holes, 2 reeds per hole, but one of the notes repeats. So that means 19 notes naturally. But it is possible to get quite a few more notes than that by a few different techniques, but the first one we're going to be talking about is draw bends. Now they're a way of, on the draw notes, on the lower end of the harmonica, getting extra notes that wouldn't usually be there. So when you put them into practice, you can start to play a lot more riffs that you wouldn't be able to get if those notes weren't there. So what do they sound like, and where are they? Well, let's start just with, say, 4 draw, and I'll just play one so you know what it sounds like. So the natural note, that's the bend. Back to the natural note. Now I've done that on 4 draw. 4 draw isn't the only hole that you can do this on. You can actually bend the bottom 6 draw holes. So on the draw notes on the bottom 6 holes you can bend. There'll be a diagram coming up on your screen now, and you'll see the extent to which you can create bends on those holes. So 4 draw that I just played goes down a semitone. Now that's just the smallest unit within sort of Western music. So on a piano, adjacent keys, 2 keys next to each other, are a semitone apart. So it's like going down to the next key. I'll start at the bottom from now. I'll just talk about 4 draw just because I happen to play it there. But 1 draw will bend down a semitone. 2 draw will bend down 2 semitones, or in the picture it says a tone. I hope you can read that. A tone is just 2 semitones. So it's actually going down 2 extra notes. And then 3 goes down to 3 extra notes. So 1, 2 and 3 quite easy to remember because 1 goes down 1, 2, 2 and 3, 3. So hole 3. And then 4 draw, as we did before, it just goes down a semitone. 5 draw, on the diagram I haven't marked this, but you can get it to go down sort of a microtone. It's more like a quarter tone, which is half of a semitone. So it's not really counted in the sense of it's not a full unit, but you can use it for inflecting that note. You can use it stylistically. So 5 will sort of dip that little bit. So you can hear it go, but it's not going down a full note. And then 6 draw will go down a semitone. Okay, so the point of being able to get these is one, that you can inflect the notes, as you can with that 5 draw. You can use the other bends to just get an inflection on the note, so so that it has more style to it, more substance, feels more natural. It can almost be used as an imitation of the way that the voice can, with your singing, you can bend notes, or on the guitar or other instruments. So you can use it to kind of put that little bend on the 4 draw, like that. But you can also use them as actual extra melodic notes, so you can play things that weren't possible before because those notes are that available all of a sudden with this technique. Right, that's enough on the point of having bends. Let's talk a little bit about how to get them. So you've heard me play the bends, so you've got a sense of what they sound like. Let's get an idea of what we're actually doing. I'm going to talk about a couple of different ideas for actually getting these notes. And the first one is if you can whistle inwards. So if you can do an in-breath and whistle, and then you can change the pitch of that note down, that's very similar to bending technique. So if you take a note and whistle it on an in-breath, so like that, I'm going inwards, it's hard to tell from a video, and then try and dip the pitch of that. If you're able to do that, it's very similar to that. So if you put the harmonica to your mouth and try that same mouth movement on any of these draw holes we've just talked about, most people I teach tend to get the 4 draw or the 6 draw first. So maybe try one of those, but by all means try them all. So try that mouth movement. You don't actually want to be whistling when you're breathing in. You just want to be making that movement. So imagine that you were doing that inward whistle, but don't actually make the noise because that's going to get in the way of the harmonica. Just imitate that movement. So if you do that, you should start to get a bit of a bend. So you should get a Now it's most likely only to bend a little bit like that. It's not going to go as far as... By the way, I usually hold the harmonica like this, but if I hold it like that, that's just so you can see what's happening with my throat, with my chin, with my jaw. So yeah, it probably won't at first go down as far as that. You'll probably get a sort of... When you get to that point, you've really got to just push that further. Now in the end, you need to be able to bend on soft notes. You need to be able to play quite softly and still get the bends, but at first you might have to really pull on that, force it through. I'm just sort of pushing it that bit further when I've tried to do the lowered whistle sort of technique, pushing it a bit further. You might ruin a few harmonicas practicing this, so maybe try it on a cheap one. Don't go out and buy a customised £100 harmonica or whatever. Just try it on a cheap one. So you can see my jaw lowers, and there's a lot more tension here than when I'm playing a natural note. Very loose, very relaxed. You can see it's hard to tense up. Now, if you're used to doing that inward whistle and the changing of pitch, you'll notice that it's a similar movement. Hence, I'm telling you to try that. But it's not a natural thing to do if you're not used to, or you've never tried that inward whistle with the changing of pitch. Then you really have to think about what's actually happening. So in order to sort of give you an idea, if you're not used to that whistling method, I'll just give you an explanation of the actual physical movements that I'm doing. So the jaw lowers, and I go from sort of a so my natural note would be kind of and then to get the bend, the jaw lowers because I go to more of an oo shape, from to oo, oo, oo. like that. But the jaw on its own won't do it. You need to drop your tongue as well. So my tongue is down at the front, which means it's kind of raised at the back. So it kind of, the tongue dips a bit like that. When I get in the bend, the tongue dips down. And as I said before, there's a lot of tension in your throat. So you need to work on controlling those, and controlling all those things at once is quite difficult. The other thing you'll notice is the harmonica is moving slightly away from me. That's a natural side product of going from to oo. When you do that, your lips push out and the harmonica gets further away. When you're playing normal notes, your harmonica will be slightly further into your mouth, but when you bend, you'll push it out a bit. You do need to place it back in there for the natural notes, otherwise that's going to affect your tone on your natural notes. So that's the two ways that I kind of think of bending, and that's the two ways I'd look to just try it if you're trying this for the first time. It's worth trying each hole just to see which one comes first. You might find you get this one day, the next day you can't do it. Stick with it, try a little bit every day. It can be a bit frustrating, but just try and get that first bend and then take it from there. I should say that these notes are on a continuum, so the way I picked out each note, so hole 3 for example, the way I'm picking each note out is an artificial boundary. I'm plugging them in. Naturally, it will just go up and down. So you'll find that you get a sort of... You could really do with some sort of reference, so a piano, a guitar, some other instrument, in order to tell exactly how far down you're going in terms of those notes. So on 3 draw, are you hitting the first bend? Are you slightly further than that? How far down are you? It really helps to have that reference point so that you really know how far you're getting. So I hope having a go at that, you start to get a bit of a bend on the harmonica, and you can add that into your playing. It's really nice. It's a really nice technique to have, and it's really useful, especially for playing blues. You can start to get these really sort of bluesy riffs. That's only possible if you're capable of getting these bent notes. So plug away at it, it's well worth it. I hope this helps. I might be back with a lesson on blow bending later on, which is a different kind of bending up the top end of the harmonica. But good luck with this, and I'll see you down the line. Cheers.